Hello, my dear students. Welcome to all of you on my YouTube channel. And today's class is going to be an important class for history optional students. Like you are just seeing on this thumbnail, today we are going to discuss about history optional. Basically, our discussion will be focused about the syllabus of the history optional paper. Okay, and we all know that in the mains preparation, optional plays a very crucial role. You all are familiar with it. And optional plays not only a crucial role, but optional has always been a game changer in your final result. Okay, the right choice for the optional paper gives you an extra advantage over the other UPSC aspirants who are writing mains examination. Okay, so there are so many factors which should be taken into consideration before choosing for any optional paper. Okay, so I have decided to record strategy videos about this history optional paper. Okay, so there will be about 15 to 20 videos which are going to cover all your doubts about this paper, about history optional paper. So today's discussion will be mainly focused on the syllabus part. So history optional, we all know about the importance of history optional paper or about the importance of history in the overall preparation of UPSC. Whether we are reading any particular module of general studies, whether it is polity, internal security, polity, internal security, apart from this economics also, you will find that the foundational aspects of everything is lies in the history, and history also gives you an extra advantage in the preparation of essay. And there are so many topics in history which can also be useful in your ethics preparation. Okay, so while discussing the topics that are given in history optional paper, we will try to develop, okay, a general idea that are these topics going to be really helpful for us in the preparation of other GS papers. This is our main focus that I want to address with you, that the syllabus that has been described by UPSC we are going to discuss today line by line. Each and every topic we will discuss. Okay, so whatever the subject you are learning, it does not matter it is the particular subject of general studies or a particular subject of optional. You should always keep it in mind that you should know your syllabus in a better way. Okay, because we all know that whenever we are familiar with the syllabus of a particular subject, okay, it means that we are familiar with the particular scope of study, that why we are reading that paper. Okay, what is the basic purpose that should be fulfilled while reading that paper. So when you understand the scope of the study, so in that case it becomes very easy for you to develop a set of analytical skills. Okay, and it also boosts efficiency and your preparation gets better. Okay, once you understand the syllabus, you will start understanding the requirements of the examination, the expectations of the UPSC, and this is also going to help you in your journey. Once you understand the syllabus, it becomes very much easier for you to identify that which sources are more relevant for your examination, and you will be in a condition to take your decision by yourself. So for all these particular reasons, we see that understanding syllabus is the very important part of our journey of UPSC preparation. Once we understand syllabus, once we know all the particular subjects, okay, it also helps in reducing the anxiety which we often face during our preparation. And it is also well said that before we proceed to our journey, it is very crucial to know the routes, to know the map. This makes our journey easier. And for these particular reasons, we should understand syllabus. We should know each and every particular aspect of the syllabus. Okay, so in today's class, I will discuss history optional syllabus with you so that you could also gather some basic idea that how history optional paper will be helpful for you in covering the other areas of general studies also. Now, we all know whenever it comes about the whenever we talk about the optional paper, okay, We are talking about history optional paper here in particular, but in general, what I am going to discuss with you will also be applied on other optional paper also. Okay, what is the right strategy to cover the history optional paper? Okay, this video I will release later, but here I am just going to give a very basic overview that whenever we are preparing for optional, okay, here we are talking about history optional paper. So whenever you are preparing for these optional papers, any optional paper, here we are talking about history optional paper. So you should always remember one thing, that there are three phases here. Okay, there are three phases, okay, which covers the complete preparation of optional paper. The first phase here is called foundational phase. So if you are a beginner, okay, so you should start with this foundational phase. This foundational phase is also the initial stage of your preparation. This is the initial stage of your preparation. And when you are doing foundational stage preparation, when you are in the initial stage of preparation, you should do your preparation in topic wise fashion. And topic wise fashion means, okay, you should look at the syllabus, you should take printout of the syllabus that is given by UPSC. You should read that syllabus, all the particular themes that are given in the syllabus, okay, very often. Okay, it means that you should memorize whatever has been written in your syllabus. Okay, and you should do what? You should do topic wise preparation. Okay, and this is called the initial stage of preparation. Now the second stage of preparation is called consolidation phase of preparation. The second phase is called consolidation phase of preparation. And in this consolidation phase of preparation, what you have to do, whatever you have studied here, the basic purpose of this study is to develop a general or the basic understanding about all the topics that is given in the syllabus. And in the second phase, that is called consolidation phase, here what you have to do, so in this consolidation phase, you will do your preparation, okay, with the help of PYQs. And I am particularly talking about topic wise PYQs, right? It means topic wise PYQs, you should cover at least 10 to 12 years of previous year paper. Okay, in a topic wise fashion, you should practice, you should try to write answer of all these questions that are given here, and this is your consolidation phase. Okay, and the third phase here is called revision phase. And in revision phase, what you need to do, you should revise your class notes. Okay, you should revise the model answers which has been written by you, and in this revision phase you should also attempt test series. Okay, test series, so this will boost your writing skill. So when we talk about history optional foundation courses, okay, there is also an important announcement for you. From 1st June 2025, I am going to start this part, that is second batch. This is the second batch where we are going to cover history optional foundational course. It means in this foundational course we will cover the entire syllabus in a topic wise fashion, right? Or we are going to cover each and every topic in details that are given in the syllabus. Okay, so this is the foundational course. And what is the most, okay, important announcement here? The most important announcement here is that these foundational courses of history optional will be available at the most affordable prices that has been given here. Okay, so now history optional will be available in the most affordable price. Okay, and this course will cover all the foundational aspects of the syllabus, and this is going to be started from 1st June 2025. So obviously this course is for those students who are going to appear in 2026. Okay, so this course has been designed particularly for those students. So we will cover with this foundational aspect, and the second and third stage of preparation will also be covered. Okay, so before you enter into this foundational phase of preparation, you should be familiar with the syllabus that is given by the UPSC. Okay, now when we talk about optional paper, any optional paper, you will find that, okay, in any optional Here we are talking about history optional, so you will find that there are two papers. Optional covers how many marks? 500 marks. You all are familiar with it, and it covers two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, right? It means that each paper comprises of 250 marks. The second paper is always applied in nature. Here also the second paper is applied in nature. And here each paper consists of two sections. There are two sections here. That is section A and section B. Section A and section B. Here also there are two sections, section A and section B. Okay, so there are two sections here, section A and section B. In history optional paper, the first paper will cover ancient, medieval, ancient and medieval history. So here the section A will cover ancient Indian history and section B will cover medieval Indian history, and it will also cover the cultural aspects of history. Okay, it means that in section A you will find the topics from ancient India, topics from medieval India, and in paper 2 you will find section A the topics from modern India, and section B you will find the topics from world history. Okay, so this is the particular scheme that you see in the optional paper, right? So this is the point here that we see in the optional paper. This is the particular scheme that we see in this optional paper. Okay, now I think that you are familiar with this. Now here in your syllabus, the syllabus that has been given by UPSC, you will find that paper 1 consists of 24 topics. UPSC has given here how many topics? So in paper 1, UPSC has given 24 topics. So you are going to find here 24 topics, right? So the total number of topics here is 24 topics. Okay, and out of these 24 topics, you will find that 12 topics are from ancient Indian history and 12 topics are from medieval Indian history. Okay, and now there are total 27 topics that are given in paper 2. Okay, and out of these 27 topics, okay, the modern Indian history section covers 15 topics. Here you will find 15 topics, and the world history segment will cover 12 topics. Okay, so here the total number of topics is 27, and here the total number of topics is 24. It means overall we can say here that the number of topics are nearly 50. ठीक है ना, 51. It is total. How many topics are given? 51 topics are given here. Okay, so nearly 50 topics are given in your history optional syllabus. So in our classroom program, we will discuss each and every topic with minute details. Okay, and your class note will cover, okay, all important areas. Now let's have an idea about what has given in your syllabus. So let's start with paper 1. This is paper 1, and now we are going to start with section A. Section A. So the topics here are related to section A, and that is ancient Indian history. And the first topic here is about sources. We all know that history is what? The study of the past. Clear? It is the study of the past which profoundly sharpens and broadens our perspective. But it becomes very difficult to reconstruct the exact image or picture of the past. Okay, and we are talking about the history, okay, of thousands of years back. Okay, so there must be some sources, okay, which will validate the reconstruction of that history. So here basically we need to understand the sources of history. And now here the sources have been categorized into two parts. One is archaeological sources and the second is literary sources. And in archaeological sources you have to study about how explorations are being done, how excavations are being done. Okay, epigraphy, okay, how epigraphs, inscriptions proved as one of the most important sources of history. Numismatics, the study of coins, how they also prove as important part of history. and how monuments are helpful in discovering India's ancient past. So we need to study about these. And apart from this, there are literary sources also, and in literary, here there are two divisions: indigenous sources and foreign account, right? And in indigenous sources, it is talking about primary sources and secondary sources. Okay, in literature, in literary sources, poetry, scientific literature, literature in regional languages, religious literature, all this forms the part of indigenous literature. And at the same time, foreign accounts, Greek accounts, what they wrote about history of India, Chinese accounts, and Arab writers accounts has been given in your syllabus. But what we read in optional paper is quite different from what we read in our GS paper, right? Here we have to focus on the ideas, right? On the analytical approach. Here we have to focus on how these different sources, okay, complement each other, okay, and what is the level of accuracy that is provided by these historical sources. So here we need to develop an approach. So this is the very first topic. It's quite obvious, if you are reading about history, we must need to know about the sources of history. The second topic is prehistory and proto-history. Prehistory means the phase of the history where there were no written documents available, and proto-history is the phase of the history where written documents were available. So this is the second chapter, and here geographical factors has been discussed: hunting and gathering, Paleolithic, Mesolithic cultures, okay, Neolithic cultures, Chalcolithic cultures. We need to study about these cultures. This chapter is also important for the mapping part in your history optional syllabus, okay. The detailed breakup of the marking pattern of the history optional paper I will cover in the next video. So here you see that you need to study about the cultures, right? And which cultures? We need to study about the Stone Age cultures, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. We need to study about the Chalcolithic cultures. And apart from this, we also need to study about the Bronze Age civilization, that is called Indus Valley civilization. So this has been given in your syllabus. In Indus Valley civilization, we have to study about the origin, about date, about extent of Indus Valley civilization, about what are the important features or characteristics of Indus Valley civilization, what were the factors that were responsible for the decline of Indus Valley civilization, and which elements are in cultural continuity from this Indus Valley civilization. This also need to understand. And when we'll discuss all these things, obviously we are going to be familiar with the significance of Indus Valley civilization. And apart from this, we are also given to study about the art and architecture of Indus Valley civilization. Now, when I am discussing this part of the syllabus, you can easily recall the topics which you have already studied in your GS history paper. Okay, only the approach is different. Okay, what we cover in our GS paper, we read it with a different approach. What we cover in our optional paper, we read it with a completely different approach. You will find the topics are quite similar. Okay, there is another culture. This is megalithic culture. So we also need to study in details about this megalithic culture, the distribution of pastoral and farming cultures outside the Indus Valley civilization, right? We need to study about the development of the community life. We need to study about the different settlements, development of agriculture, craft, pottery, iron, and industry. This entire chapter, basically prehistory, proto-history, Indus Valley civilization, megalithic culture, these chapters are very much important from the mapping perspective. There is, in paper 1 there is a question that is related to mapping that I will discuss later. So for that chapter, these are very much important. So while discussing these chapters, we need to focus on the particular areas which where these cultural settlements existed or their distribution is seen. Now the next chapter is about Aryans and Vedic period. Again, it is ancient Indian history, and here we need to study about the expansion of Aryans in India, how they came to India and their distribution, their expansion from Rig Vedic period to later Vedic period. We need to study about this. And apart from this, we need to discuss about the literature during the Vedic period, right? We need to discuss about the transformation from Rig Vedic period to later Vedic period. And when we are talking about this transformation, we are talking about political transformation in political life, transformation in social life, and transformation in economic life. And this transformation is from Rig Vedic period to later Vedic period. How this transformation can be seen? Rig Vedic period is 1500 to 1000 BC phase, and later Vedic period is 100 to 600 BC phase. So how these transformations can be seen, we need to study about this. And apart from this, we need to understand about the significance of Vedic age. We need to discuss about the evolution of monarchy and Varna system, right? So these two topics are also very important topics. In GS also you might have studied these topics. Now the next topic here is period of Mahajanpads. Obviously this is the 600-300 BC period. So here we need to study about the Mahajanpads or the state formation era, 600 to 300 BC period, which are the important states. There were republics, there were the monarchies. So we need to understand differences, features, all this. We need to understand about the rise of urban centers, because this is the phase of second urbanization. Also Indus Valley civilization was the phase of first urbanization. We need to study about the important trade routes. Since this is the phase of second urbanization, so obviously there will be trade and commerce, and various centers will be connected with each other. Okay, so we need to understand about the various trade routes. Also we need to understand about the growth in economy, about the introduction of the coinage system. The first early coins that were seen were the punch mark coins, which we see in the Mahajanpada era. We need to study about those coins also. And apart from this, we need to study about the spread of Jainism and Buddhism. Remember one thing, when we study GS, we read Buddhism and Jainism in very much detail. Here we need to study about the basic introduction of Buddhism and Jainism, and we need to study about the spread of Buddhism and Jainism. Gender perspectives and a few other areas are also there, which we need to cover in the optional paper. And after this, we need to read this topic, that is rise of Magad and Nandas. Okay, so this is the next chapter. Now in 600-300 BC period, there is another chapter that is given here, and that is Iranian and Macedonian invasions and their impact on India. I hope that all of you are recalling your GS history syllabus. You must have studied GS history. If you have studied NCERT also, you will find that the scheme of chapters that are given in the NCERT will be in the same format. You will find all these topics are given in your NCERT book, class 11th NCERT, R.S. Sharma book, old NCERT. You will find that all these chapters have been given. Okay, so for optional paper, we need some upgradation, we need some additions. Okay, and this is done by this will be done during the discussions in our classroom program. And the next chapter is Mauryan Empire, that is chapter number 7. What you need to study in Mauryan Empire? The first is foundation of Mauryan Empire. The second chapter is Chandragupta. The third chapter here is Kautilya and Arthashastra. The fourth chapter is about Ashoka, one of the greatest rulers of the ancient Indian history. And the next is concept of Dharma. The concept of Dhamma of Ashoka. We need to study about the edicts and the purposes of the edicts. We need to study about the polity that was developed during the Mauryan period. This system of administration is also known as classical system of administration. So for what purpose it is called classical system of administration, we need to discuss. We need to discuss about the economy also. We need to discuss about the art and architecture. We need to discuss about the sculpture. We need to discuss about the external context that developed during the Mauryan period. Okay, religion obviously is an important part. Spread of religion, spread of literature, this also we need to cover in this chapter. And finally, disintegration of Mauryan Empire we need to study. We need to study about the Sung and Kanva also. Okay, so these topics are given. Now the topic number 8 here is post-Mauryan period. And in post-Mauryan period, we see large number of invaders came to India, and the sequence is ISPK, Indo-Greek, Shak, Pahlav, right? Kushana came later. Okay, Indo-Greek, Shak, Pahlav, Kushana, sorry, Huns come later. So what we see here, we need to study about the India's contact with outside world. Why this topic has been included? Because during this period, okay, large number of invaders came to India from outside. That's why this topic has been included. So due to these cultural contexts, there will be development in the trade and commerce, and that's why we need to discuss about the growth of urban centers also, because here the economic activities will be promoted. We need to discuss about economy. Obviously, when all these things will grow, there will be development in the coinage system also. Okay, there were already development in the field of religions during the 600 BC, 300 BC period. Buddhism and Jainism and growing. So here we need to study about the development of religions. Various sects and subsects were emerging within these religious groups. So we need to discuss about that. Okay, for example, Mahayana sect in Buddhism. We see this emerges during this post-Mauryan period. We need to understand about the social conditions of this age. We need to understand about the art and architecture that developed during the later Mauryan period. Obviously, all these are the aspects of the culture. So we need to discuss. We also need to discuss about the development of literature and science during the post-Mauryan period. Now the next topic is early state and society in Eastern India, Deccan and South India, right? So here some topics have been given. For example, Kharvela has been given. Satvahanas is a very important topic. Okay, Satvahana rulers acted like a bridge between north and south. Tamil states of the Sangam age, administration in Sangam period, economy. We need to discuss about the land grants. We need to discuss about the coinage system. We need to discuss about the trade guilds. We need to discuss about the urban centers. We need to discuss about the Buddhist centers. We need to discuss about the Sangam literature and culture. We need to discuss about the art and architecture that was developed during this period, right? So in our classroom program, what we'll do, we will cover all the topics here as given in your syllabus. This is the foundational stage of our preparation, right? So this will give us an idea about all the particular aspects that are given in your syllabus. Okay, for example, it is a very important idea to prepare according to the trends of the questions that are asked in UPSC paper. But many a times you will see that UPSC used to ask a few questions that are not in sync with the trends. So in that case, those questions becomes very challenging for the students. So if in your foundational stage of preparation, if you will prepare all the topics in the topic wise fashion, so you will be able to solve those questions also which are not in sync with the trend. Okay, so that's why in the foundational stage of preparation we'll cover the topics in this way. Now the next topic is topic number 10. Here you need to study about the Guptas, Vakatakas and the Vardhans. Obviously you need to study about the polity and administration, economic conditions, coinage of the Gupta system, land grants here, decline of the urban centers. It means the economic prosperity is declining during this time. We need to study about the Indian feudalism. We need to study about the caste system, position of women, education, educational institutions, Nalanda, Vikramsila, Vallabhi, literature, scientific literature, art and architecture. Okay, so in this particular area, we need to cover all these aspects. Now this chapter is chapter number 11, where you are given regional states. Okay, the other regional states that were there during the Gupta period, and Kadams were there, Pallavas were there, Chalukyas or Badamis were there. Okay, apart from this, what we see, we need to read about the polity and administration. We need to read about the trade and guilds, literature, growth of Vaishnava and Saiva religions. We need to read about the Tamil Bhakti movement that was flourishing during this period. We need to study about the Sankaracharya, Vedanta, institutions of temple and temple architecture, other regional dynasties, Pal, Sena dynasty, Rashtrakuta dynasty, Paramara dynasty, polity, administration, cultural aspects we need to understand, Arab conquest of Sindh we need to understand, Al-Biruni we need to understand, the Chalukyas of Kalyana, Chol, Hoysal and Pandyas. Okay, so there are so many type of topics. So you don't need to read all the topics in very much detail. Okay, you need to understand some basics of these particular dynasties, and you need to read about what are the important cultural contributions of these particular dynasties. If in polity and administration there is some remarkable achievement, we need to understand that, right? So there is a strategy that how you can cover all these topics in a very simple manner, so that I will discuss in our classroom. ठीक है, तो इन topics को देके घबराना नहीं है. What is the best part of the history optional syllabus is each and every topic has been written very clearly. That's why you will see that history optional syllabus is very much detailed in comparison to the okay syllabus of some particular optionals. You will find कि यहाँ पे एक topic has been covered very minutely. So we need to study about the polity, administration, local government, growth of art, architecture, religious sect, institutions of temple, mutt, agrahara, This year also you will see that the question directly came from this topic. Okay, so UPSC used to ask generally questions also that are directly given in the syllabus part. Okay, education and literature, economy and society. Now the next topic is themes in early Indian cultural history. It means that there are total 12 topics. So this 12th topic is all about the culture in ancient Indian history. And in this culture part, what we need to cover, so we need to cover the languages and the text. We need to cover major stages in the evolution of art and architecture. We need to cover major philosophical thinkers and schools. We need to cover ideas in science and mathematics. Now, if you are preparing for UPSC, if you are not an absolute beginner, so you can easily establish the importance of history optional paper for your GS also. Okay, we see that in prelims also, UPSC generally asks 15, 16, even sometimes you will see that the number of questions from the history particular module history will be 20 to 22. So in this scenario, what is the most important thing, that if you read history optional, okay, you will be very much comfortable in your prelims examination. There is no any doubt. Okay, because the kind of questions that UPSC is asking nowadays, you will find that they are doing what, deep dive in the subject, which is they are asking 4 to 5 questions, okay, which are not particularly covered by GS students. Okay, so you need to have a in-depth knowledge, and when you read history optional paper, you are comfortable in these at least 16 to 20 questions in your prelims examination also. So that is about 20%, okay, part of your prelims examination. So obviously, okay, history optional gives you an extra advantage in your preparation of prelims paper also, and it is clear from the topics that I have recently discussed with you. Now we are entering into the paper 1, section B. Section B is what, medieval Indian history, and here what has been discussed, which topics have been given. So first, the topics that are covering early medieval phase in India, that is 8th century to 12th century, that is 750 to 1200 AD. Here you need to study about the polity, important developments in polity in northern India and in peninsular India, right? The rise of Rajputs we need to understand. This phase also covers the imperial phase of Cholas. Imperial phase of Cholas starts from 950 AD. So obviously Cholas will be an important topic here. We need to study about the administration, village economy and society, that is Indian feudalism. इसको भी डिटेल में पढ़ना है. We need to study about the agrarian economy. We need to study about the urban settlements, trade and commerce in early medieval phase. We need to discuss the society in early medieval phase, the status of Brahmana and the new social order that is seen here, the condition of women, Indian science and technology. Okay, so this is a period of almost 350 years. So in these 350 years, you need to develop a basic understanding that what are the important developments in the field of economy, what are the important developments in the field of society, women is an important part of the society, what are the important developments in the field of science and technology, what are the important developments in the field of political system, we need to understand. So broadly here there are some opinions that you need to know. Broadly here you are required to have an understanding of some particular aspects, okay, or characteristic features of the developments of this age. Okay, now the 14th topic here is cultural transitions in India. And in cultural transitions, what has been covered here, four particular aspects have been covered in these cultural transitions. One is philosophy, the second is religion, the third is literature, and the fourth is art and architecture. So these four particular aspects are covered here. Okay, philosophy, religion, literature and art and architecture. In philosophy आपको क्या पढ़ना है, शंकराचार्य and Vedanta, Ramanuj and Visishtadvaitwad, Madhvacharya and Brahmamimamsa. In religion, you need to understand about the forms and features of religion, Tamil development, cult, growth of Bhakti, growth of Islam and arrival of Islam in India, and about the Sufism. You need to study about the literature, particularly the literature in Sanskrit, okay, growth of Tamil literature, literature in the newly developing languages, and Kallan's Raj Tarangini and Alberuni's India. You need to study about the temple architecture, sculpture and painting. Okay, and when you look at this particular topics that are given here in history optional paper, you will find that in prelims paper, now UPSC is okay focusing on those questions that cover these particular areas. Okay, ये important होता जा रहा है. If you look here, you will find that in prelims paper, UPSC is now covering okay those questions that are asked from these particular areas. कल्याणी, चालुक्य, होयसल, पांड्यास, कदम्ब, पल्लवा, चालुक्य, यहाँ से क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं. So obviously, the when you read history optional, this gives you an additional advantage in your prelims preparation also. So this is 14th topic, number 14 topic. Now the 15th topic, the important developments in the 13th century period. And 13th century, one of the most important achievement is what? This is the establishment of Delhi Sultanate. We need to study that. Ghurid invasions, factors behind the Ghurid invasion. In 13th century, what are the important developments in the field of economy, social and cultural consequences we need to understand. Okay, foundation of Delhi Sultanate we need to understand. Early Turkish sultans we need to understand, and how the rulers consolidated their rule, the rule of Iltutmish and Balban. So we need to study about these rulers. This is also an important part of GS. GS ka hissa. Now we are coming to the 14th century. Here we need to study about the Khalji revolution, Alauddin Khilji, conquest and territorial expansion, agrarian and economic measure. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, what are the major projects, agrarian measures, bureaucracy of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and we need to study about this important ruler, Firoz Tughlaq, agrarian measures, achievements in engineering and public works, decline in the Sultanate, okay, and then foreign contexts and accounts of Ibn Battuta. We need to study about Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So here what we see is that history optional focuses on some particular rulers. Okay. So when you are reading medieval India, you need to focus on some particular rulers, their particular achievements, right? And what are the important historical debates about this ruler? This also you need to understand. It means features, characteristics, programs and policies we need to understand. But apart from this, when we are reading about the rulers of this medieval age, we must be familiar with the perspective of the other historians, and finally we must have a generalized opinion or balanced thought about these rulers. For example, about Alauddin Khilji, you know, okay, Alauddin Khilji, okay, whenever people talk about Alauddin Khilji, this topic becomes a particular topic which is related to their personal likes and dislikes. But as a student of history, you are not entering into that particular area of personal likes and dislikes. Okay, you must have a balanced approach. Okay, you must have a right opinion, and in this way you can justify these topics. Okay, now we are coming to the next topic, that is topic number 17. It is covering what? It is covering society, culture, economy in 13th and 14th century. Society, culture and economy, there are three particular aspects here: society, culture and economy, and here each and everything has been discussed in very detail. That in society, between this period 13th to okay 13th 14th century, in society what you need to understand, okay, what was the composition and nature of the rural society. Okay, you need to know about the ruling classes, you need to know about the life of the people who are living in the urban areas, that is called town dwellers. You need to know about women, you need to know about the religious classes, you need to know about the caste and slavery under the Sultanate, you need to know about the Bhakti movement and Sufi movement. Okay, so all these are important developments. So here in our foundational course we will cover all these topics, okay, as given in the syllabus. Now the culture part, here you need to study about the Persian literature, literature in regional languages of North India, literature in languages of the South India, Sultanate architecture and new structural forms, painting, evolution of a composite culture. In economy, you need to understand about the, you need to read about the agriculture production, rise of urban economy, non-agriculture production, trade and commerce. Now the next two centuries are the 15th and 16th century. So here you need to study about what are the important political developments, okay, and you need to read about the economy of this particular period. So in this 15th and 16th century, we see there are so many provincial dynasties that came into existence, and in these provincial dynasties, okay, three states have been given: Bengal, Kashmir and Gujarat. We need to study about this. Malwa, Bahmanis, we need to study about these. By Vijayanagar Empire we need to study. Lodhis we need to study, Mughal Empire we need to study. Okay, the first phase, Babur and Humayun, and we know that Humayun was ruling, and then Sher Shah Suri will disrupt his rule. So there will be a Sur Empire. So we need to study about the Sher Shah Suri's administration. Okay, then the 15th and early 16th century, society and culture we need to study. Okay, and in society and culture we need to study about the regional culture specifications, literary traditions, provincial architecture, society, culture, literature, and arts in Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so when we are discussing these topics, okay, we are discussing these topics as given in the syllabus. But when you start understanding the history, okay, so there are interlinkages between these topics. For example, the nature of the society that you see in 15th 16th century, okay, is what is the development of the same society that we see in the 13th 14th century. And 13th 14th century society is the development of the society that we see during this 18th to 13th century period, 8th to 13th century period. So what we see that each and every development, okay, that we see is basically based on the previous developments. So once you start with the basics, you will start correlating that what is happening, what are the important developments that are taking place in the field of society, what are the important developments that are taking place in economy, science and technology, religion, literature. So it is very much easier for you to identify these developments. Okay, so for this practice is needed. For this, in foundational courses, detailed discussions on these particular aspects are needed. Okay, so if while covering the history optional program, if I will focus on dictation and dictation only, so that is not a good idea. Okay, this will not give you a good understanding of your syllabus. Okay, so what we'll do, we will have a very detailed discussion on all these particular aspects, and apart from this, I will also dictate whatever I will teach in point wise fashion, so that you could maintain your notes, your class notes, and these class notes will be serving the purpose of your revision in the consolidation phase and the final stage, that is the revision stage. So we will follow our program in that particular way. Now we need to study about Akbar. Okay, this topic has been given separately. Akbar, about the conquests of Akbar, about how Akbar was successful in consolidation of his empire. We need to discuss about the Jagir system and the Mansab system that was developed by Akbar. We need to study about the Rajput policy that was developed by Akbar. We need to study about the evolution of religious and social outlook, theory of Sulh Kul and religious policy. We need to discuss about the court patronage of art and technology. So all these topics we need to understand. Now, the next is 21st topic, that is Mughal Empire in the 17th century. Here you need to study about Jahangir, Shahjahan and Aurangzeb, okay, about the empire, about the zamindars, right, about the religious policy of Jahangir, Shahjahan and Aurangzeb. We need to study about the nature of the Mughal state. We need to study about the late 17th century crisis and the revolts that were seen. And there is a separate topic. That topic is related to Ahom kingdom, and this topic is related to Shivaji and early Maratha kingdom. Okay. Now 22nd number topic is what? It is covering, okay, 16th and 17th century. Here we need to study about the nature of economy or the important economic developments that took place during this 16th and 17th century. And for that particular reason, we need to understand about the agriculture. We need to read about the craft production, towns, commerce. Okay, and at the same time, what we see that our trade and commerce with European groups. Okay, this was also being promoted with Dutch, with English, with French companies. Okay, we are doing trade and commerce, so that is a kind of trade revolution. We need to study about the Indian mercantile classes. We need to study about the banking, insurance and the credit system, and at the same time we need to study about the conditions of peasant, condition of women, evolution of the Sikh community and the Khalsa Panth. Okay, all these topics we need to cover. Okay, now the next is 23rd number topic and 24th number topic. 23rd number topic is related to culture during Mughal Empire. This topic is extremely important for your GS paper also. Okay, you need to study about the Persian histories and other literature, Hindi and religious literature, Mughal architecture, Mughal painting, provincial architecture and painting, classical music, science and technology. This is equally important for your GS paper. Now in 18th century, you need to study about the factors of the decline of Mughal Empire. The regional principalities like Nizams, Deccan, Hyderabad, Bengal, Awadh, Maratha power under Peshwas, Marathas fiscal and financial system. It means Marathas we need to study in very much detail. Emergence of Afghan power, Battle of Panipat 1761, and finally the state of the political, cultural and economy. A state of political, cultural and economy on the eve of the British conquest. Right? This we need to read in detail. So these are all topics that we need to study in paper 1. Okay. Now in paper 2, I have already discussed with you that this will cover modern Indian history and world history, right? So modern Indian history there are 15 topics and world history there are 12 topics. Now let's see at the topics and the purpose is ठीक है कि आप अपने जीएस के पेपर को भी उठा के देखना, right? That how this history option is going to help you in covering the areas of GS also. For example, topic number 1 is European penetration into India. Topic number 2 is British expansion in India. Topic number 3 is early structure of the British Raj. This all we study in our GS paper also. Portuguese, Dutch, English, French, how they were fighting important battles, they were fought between them, fight for supremacy, Palasi, Buxar, all this is the part of general studies also, right? We need to study about the administrative structure, okay? From diarchy to direct control, regulating act, Pitt's India Act, Charter Act, okay? इसके बारे में पढ़ना है. This is also an important part that we study in our GS paper. We need to study about the economic impact of the British rule. Here we need to study in detail about the land revenue settlements in India. Okay, here permanent system, Rayatwari system, Mahalwari system. Economic impact of the revenue arrangements we need to study. Commercialization of agriculture we need to study. Landless agrarian laborers, how this class came into existence, we need to know the reasons for this. And impoverishment of the rural society, this also we need to understand. The second topic here is dislocation of traditional trade and commerce. It means, okay, our trade and commerce, our rich economic prosperity is now declining. Okay, it's in a crumbling stage. So here we need to study about the deindustrialization, decline of traditional craft. We need to study about the process of drain of wealth, how this economic transformation of India was taking place gradually. Okay, the railroad and communication network that was developed by the British, okay, including telegraph and postal services, how it was helpful in the expansion of the colonial structure, famine and poverty in the rural interior, and European business prices, enterprises, and what are its limitations, right? So all this we need to discuss. We need to develop an analytical approach, a critical outlook towards all these topics. And the fifth topic is social and cultural development, education, Anglicist, Orientalist controversy, introduction of Western education in India, the rise of praise, literature and public opinion, rise of modern vernacular literature, progress of science, Christian missionaries and activities in India. This we need to read. The next topic is sociologist reform movements in Bengal and other areas. Those who are student of GS and those who are thinking to opt for history optional, तो एक बार अपने GS के paper notes questions को देखना, okay? Then you will have an idea कि how history optional is going to help you. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Brahma movement, Devendranath Tagore, Ishwachand Vidyasagar, Young Bengal movement, Dayanand Saraswati, social reform movements in India, including sati, widow remarriage, child marriage, the contribution of Indian Renaissance to the growth of modern India, Islamic revivalism, Farazi and Wahhabi movement. This you need to study. Now we are coming to the next part. What was the Indian response to this colonial rule? Indian response to the British rule. So revolts and rebellions. This topic is also very much important for your prelims paper. Revolts, rebellions तो बिल्कुल रिवाइज करके जाना for 2025 prelims, right? So peasant movement and tribal uprising in 18th and 19th century. But here in mains paper, mains optional, some particular revolts you need to study in detail. For example, Rangpur Ting, Coal Rebellion, Mopla Rebellion, Santhal Hul, Indigo, Deccan Uprisings, Munda, Olgulan, the Great Revolt of 1857, and the peasant movement that were seen in 1920s and 30s. This we need to study in detail in our optional paper. Now the next topic is factors leading to the birth of Indian nationalism, politics of associations, foundation of Indian National Congress. Okay, safety valve theory relating to the birth of Indian National Congress, programs and objectives of early Congress, the social composition of early Congress, leadership, moderates and extremists, partition of Bengal, Swadesi movement in Bengal, economic and political aspects of the Swadesi movement, and the beginning of revolutionary extremism in India. This topic we need to cover. Now we are moving ahead. The next topic is rise of Gandhi, character of Gandhian nationalism, Gandhi's popular appeal, Rowlatt Satyagraha, Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement, national politics. Okay, from the end of non-cooperation movement to the beginning of civil disobedience movement, two phases of civil disobedience movement, Simon Commission, Nehru Report, roundtable conferences, nationalism and peasant movement, nationalism and working class movement, women and Indian youth and students in Indian politics, the election of 1937, the formation of ministries, the Cripps Mission Quit India movement, the Wavell Plan, and the Cabinet Mission. This is topic number 9. Now you can easily relate to the importance of history option in the GS paper. समझ पा रहे होगे आप? Okay, now the constitutional development in colonial India between 1858 to 1935. This topic is also extremely important for those students who are going to appear in the prelims examination. तो इसको जरूर ध्यान में देख के जाना. Other strands of the national movement, particularly here, it's talking about revolutionaries. It's talking about the left. Okay, okay, and it's also talking about the Socialist Party, Communist Party of India, the other left parties, the politics of separatism, Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, communalism, politics of partition, transformation, transfer of power, independence. And the next topic is 13 number topic is consolidation as a nation. Okay, Nehru foreign policy. This part is going to be important. Okay, this will gives you a solid foundation or base for IR. Okay, this will be helpful for you. India and her neighbors 1947 to 1964. What was the policies? Linguistic reorganization of states. This topic in detail you read in your polity part. Regionalism and regional inequality, integration of princely states, princes in electoral politics, the question of national language. That is topic number 13. Now when I am discussing these topics, you can easily identify that when we read history, we become familiar with the diversity of India. We are reading history here. It means we are reading the complexities of the human societies and cultures in different time period. And when you understand the diversity of India, it fosters a kind of empathy in you. And when that empathy, the sense of empathy is being developed, you are able to appreciate different traditions, different beliefs, and different cultural practices. Okay, so all these topics indicate that when we read these topics in detail, okay, when we learn important lessons from the past, when we learn that how civilizations rose, how civilizations fell, what are the important achievements, what are the, you can say that, important mistakes that were committed in history, we are able to develop a valuable insight. Okay, and this will be helpful in shaping the world. Okay, and we will be able to take informed choices. Okay, so this is not only the topic that are given in the history syllabus, but this is also a hint or the indication that if you want to understand the diversity of India, if you want to know the Bharata, you must know the history. Okay, if you want to develop a kind of analytical thinking and approach, okay, if you try to develop the art of interconnecting or linking events from one another, if you want to understand what are the important developments in important patterns in developments over the period of time, you must know the history. And for this purpose, history is a very important subject. We are able to understand important changes, we are able to understand what are the important cultural continuities. Okay, now here caste and ethnicity after 1947, backward caste, tribes in post colonial electoral politics, Dalit movement, this also we need to understand. Economic developmental political changes, land reforms, politics of planning, rural construction, ecology and environmental policy in post colonial India, and the progress of science. So nothing is left. So when you read history optional, you are also able to tackle, okay, any of the essay that you will find in your essay paper. You can tackle the essays very effectively. You will be comfortable in writing the historical perspectives in the essays. Now in paper 2, the second part is world history, and world history covers how many topics? 12 topics here. The topic here is enlightenment and modern ideas, Here you need to discuss, you need to study in detail about the Kant and Rousseau. You also need to study about the spread of enlightenment in the colonies. You need to study the rise and development of the socialist ideas up to Marx. Okay, Marx tak, right? So spread of Marxian socialism, modern politics, European state system, American Revolution, French Revolution, and what happened after French Revolution, right? American Civil War with reference to the Abraham Lincoln, abolition of slavery, British democratic politics 1815 to 1850, parliamentary reforms, free trades, Chartist movement, all we need to understand. Now, the next chapter is industrialization. That is also a very important topic in history, industrialization. Okay, so in industrialization, what we need to understand. So, in industrialization, English industrial revolution, what are the causes of industrial revolution, impact of industrial revolution on society, industrialization in other countries, like it is expansion of industrialization in other countries like USA, Germany, Russia and Japan. We need to read in detail about industrialization and globalization. इसके बारे में भी पढ़ना है. Okay, so it is very clear that if we try to understand about the global economic system, about the trade and commerce, about globalization, right, about the scientific and technological progress, okay, that was possible in world. Okay, so we need to be familiar with the developments of history. Nation state system, the rise of nationalism in 19th century, nationalism, how it helped in state building in Germany and Italy, disintegration of empires in the face of emergence of nationalism, this also we need to understand. And after this we need to discuss this topic, that is imperialism and colonialism. Here we need to read some particular topics. Okay, all are not covered in GS paper. One is South and Southeast Asia, Latin America, South Africa, Australia, imperialism and free trade, rise of neo imperialism. Okay, so these topics, when we read these topics, this will be very much helpful for us in understanding the development. We need to study about the revolutions here. We need to study about the 19th century European Revolution, Russian Revolution 1917 to 1921. We need to study about the fastest counter revolution Italy and Germany, the Chinese Revolution of 1949. We need to study about the world wars, particularly about the first and world wars, where the total wars, why they were the total wars, what are the societal implications of this war, what are the causes and consequences of first world war, and what are the causes and consequences of the second world war. This we need to study. Now the world after World War II, emergence of two power blocks, third world non-alignment, UN and global disputes. Now I hope you can easily understand that if you want to read IR, okay, so the basic foundation of international relations you can find where? In history. If you read history optional, okay, so you can develop a very good command on IR also, right? You need to study this topic, that is liberation from colonial rule, Latin America, Bolivar, Arab Egypt, Arab world, Egypt, Africa, apartheid to democracy, Southeast Asia, Vietnam. तो देखो छूट क्या रहा है? Nothing. We are reading about Russia, America, Southeast Asian countries. ठीक है, so we will have a basic, we will have a world view of what has happened all over the world. Okay, तो इससे आप सोच सकते हो कि how your perspective will become more and more broader. Okay, so obviously this will also give you a confidence in writing good answers. ठीक है, you need to study about the decolonization and underdevelopment. Okay, factors constraining development, Latin America, Africa. 26 number topic is unification of Europe. ठीक है, post war foundation, NATO and European community, consolidation expansion of European community, European Union. The next is 27th and the last topic, that is disintegration of Soviet Union and the rise of unipolar world. Factors leading to the collapse of Soviet Union, political changes in East Europe, okay, and end of Cold War and US ascendancy in the world as a lone superpower. So these are the total topics that you need to study in your history optional paper. Okay, now if you are already reading general studies, just try to find out, okay, that how history optional is going to help you in covering the other areas of GS. So if you are having a basic understanding of GS syllabus, okay, you will come to the conclusion that history will help you in developing a good foundation or basics for the study of polity, for the study of international relations. In essays, you will be able to write historical perspectives. Okay, so in this way, this optional is going to help you, and in prelims, it is extremely helpful. Okay, it will cover almost 18 to 20% part of your prelims. So if you opt for history optional, this is going to help you in your entire stage of preparation. Okay, and the model which I am opting, okay, is definitely going to help you in this model. Okay, you will have to work with the teacher. Okay, you don't need to gather a lot of books, right? With the basic books, with the NCRTs, okay, I will discuss all important topics. जैसा कि मैंने कहा, in the foundational stage of preparation, that is stage 1, यही हमारा course है, foundation course for history optional. We will read what? Topic wise, all the papers. Okay, and for this I am going to start my batch from 1st June 2025. Clear? And the admissions for this batch will be open for 15 days only. It means 15th May to 1st June. Admissions will be open. Okay, so in thumbnail you will find a contact number, so contact only during this time period. ठीक है, इसके पहले कॉल करोगे तो कॉल शायद रिप्लाई भी नहीं होगी, right? So admissions will be open for 15 days only. So this is going to be a very good opportunity for you. Okay, and don't look at the prices, because it is the most affordable price. शायद सबसे कम में मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ, right? 5999 is nothing for the history optional course, right? So ऐसा नहीं कि सस्ता है तो बेकार होगा. It's not like that. If you want to look at the quality of my teaching, so just watch other YouTube videos which I have uploaded for the GS paper. You will find that. Okay, I take this responsibility of teaching very seriously, and when I will teach history optional, you are going to get the best optional classes, okay, in the least prices, in the most affordable prices, right? So this is the first video, okay, in the series of strategy videos. Okay, I will cover a lot of doubts that often comes across in the mind of an aspirant while choosing for history optional in separate videos also. That, for example, it comes in your mind ki which course we should opt for, GS course or history optional course. I will answer in another video. Okay, how questions are being asked in history optional paper, ठीक है, format क्या होता है, how many questions are asked, all are compulsory or you have some choice. I will answer in another video, right? What should be a strategy to get 300 plus marks in history optional video, a history optional, I will share in another video. What should be the strategy, okay, to complete mapping portion, I will cover in another video, right? Coaching is compulsory or not, self study, is it sufficient to cover history optional paper, I will cover in other video. So I will upload this video, okay, but for admission you must contact only 15 days before the commencement of the course, right? Thanks to all of you. Okay, just like, subscribe our YouTube channel so that you could get the regular updates about our courses. Thanks to all of you.